I bet. Welcome back to another episode of Toxiris Discovers. Today we got one album that I found for myself and 6 that the community suggested. Let's get right into it. Don't forget to leave a suggestion down in the comments. Let's get it. As always, we're starting off with the project that I selected for myself, which in this case is Future Save Me. If you want to call this an album, an EP, whatever, I don't care. It's 7 tracks long and it's absolutely fantastic. Okay, now that might be a bit too much, but it is a great Future album, and from the ones I've heard, maybe one of my favorites. Gotta add, I haven't heard too many Future projects. Yes. Anyway, the beats, great. Some songs even have like great lyrical content for someone like Future, and overall it's just a very short but good project. This here might be my favorite track of the project. You wanna ride with me, shotgun, shotgun. You wanna slide with me, shotgun. And yeah, what can I say? This is just very, very good. I think for the length of it and for how short it is overall, it is just a great project. Just something to listen to and move on. Nothing where you have any deep thoughts after, but pretty good for it. I'll give it a 8 out of 10, honestly. It was really, really enjoyable. Next one we got is Chief Keef, Thoughtbreaker. First one suggested by the community. This one by Kieran Cartwright. This is probably the most melodic Chief Keef project I've ever heard. And I remember making an old main channel video where I had Can You Be My Friend is the worst Chief Keef song I've ever heard. Yeah, well, some people were hating back then, but some people agreed, and now it is my favorite track on the album. I mean, after listening to that, you might hate it, you might love it, I don't know. I think this project overall is very, very solid for what it is. It's not my favorite Chief Keef album by any extent, but it's better than projects like Bang 2 or Mansion Music, which are my least favorites by far. Still, I'd give it a 7 out of 10 overall. I think it's a solid project. I think it's it just shows a new side of Chief Keef, and I think that's very interesting. So, good project overall. Then we got Wire and Lingo Noir. I don't know how to say this. Suggested by Rap VIP. Well, this man said he's only gonna suggest underrated shit for now. This is unpopular but not underrated. This man is signed by someone of the Migos, I think, because there is a Takeoff featured on the first track on this album. Overall, this project is just, I don't know. To me, this is just standard, Migos type rap that is just nothing special at all. I don't think this project stands out in any way. Not for being super bad and not for being super good. It is just decent. Decent in every way. Decent production, decent lyrics, decent flow, decent track list. 5 out of 10 just because it's just in the middle. It's nothing special. I'm indifferent to it.
Labels calling cause I really be popping my shit. Don't get mad at me cause I get off my ass and you broke it.
Then we have the next project, which is Dutchavelli, Dutch from the Fifth, suggested by JN Charts. I was actually kind of disappointed by this project. I've heard a couple Dutchavelli songs before this. Obviously, he has been all over YouTube in 2020. But this was kind of, in my opinion. Like some tracks, for example, Cool With Me with Millions are absolute classics and I love them. There were a couple tracks that just felt like fillers to me. And this is a issue that many drill projects have just because the production doesn't really switch up. Most of the time, the topics that don't really switch up. It is just pretty stale. But this project does have a couple tracks that really stand out. This one was my favorite, for example.
I guess she was never ever really mine. Just someone to see at night or someone I speak to from time to time. If you ever.
And tracks like this do stand out, but they don't carry the project because this is not the only type of song there is on this album. So, solid project, but could be better on a lot of ends and could be more unique on a lot of ends. So I would say 6.5 out of 10. Still solid, still packs some good songs, just lacks a couple things. Then we got JPEG Mafia, Black Ben Carson, suggested by PJ Gameplay. When I first looked at this album, I had a heart attack because it's like 2.5 hours long, but then I realized that half of the songs are just instrumentals to the songs on this album, which I didn't listen to the instrumentals. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I'm not going to sit here and listen to a 2.5 hour project if it's anything else than a classic, and I'm not going to listen to 1 hour of instrumentals. That's just not for me. Thank you. Anyway, this project inspired today's video's title, which is what am I listening to? Because at some points I asked myself, what am I listening to? Not because it's so bad, just because it's very, very different from everything that I've heard so far.
No TV or Wi-Fi, I'm scrolling down my timeline thinking about how much of life I'm missing.
I know of JPEG Mafia and I know that he's very experimental, whatever, but I've never actually gone ahead and listened to a project by him just because, I don't know, I've never been interested enough. This was an interesting listen though, and I think with a couple more projects of his, I could really enjoy his style, because at the end of this project, when the album was going to its end, 19 tracks, I was enjoying more and more tracks, and that obviously could be because those tracks were better, but it also could be just because I got used to his style with the time that I spent listening to the album. Anyway, production is absolutely fantastic. Some of the lyrics are absolutely great too. I think sometimes the tracks just feel a bit empty to me, like empty in a way of in a lyrical way. Like there is heavy production and great production, but then on that beat, I feel like he could do more at some points. I felt like overall, album is too long for me, just because it is good, and there are projects this length that feel way longer, so it's not bad, but it could be either shorter or it could feel shorter if it would be a bit better on some ends. So 7 out of 10, very solid project. I think I have to grow into this style, honestly. Then we have the second to last project, which is HB Been Dope, Earl on the Beat, Side A, the preface, suggested by Drip. Well, this is short EP, 4 tracks, nothing too weird. Production is pretty good. I mean, Earl on the Beat, if you know any, I don't know, Lil Yachty songs, for example, you will have heard of this name. So, I've never heard of HB Been Dope, but he did his thing on here. I think some of the hooks are great. I think some of the flows are pretty good, but it's overall just pretty good.
I'm kosher with all the closure. Well, most of it, see Mikey need Ghostbusters. I'm grimy with most lovers. My focus is feeling.
It is not like in the middle, but it's a bit better. I was enjoying this listen. I think I was also enjoying it because it was just pretty short and I could catch everything, and I enjoyed every minute I was listening to this. I was not sitting here like, minute wasted. So I'd give it a 6.5 out of 10. It has a lot of qualities that could be way better, but for the time it runs, it's not a waste of time. I enjoyed it. Last project we got is J. Cole, The Warm Up, suggested by, again, our mixtape connoisseur, Double M Entertainment. The last week we've had The Come Up, which was one of J. Cole's earliest projects, maybe his earliest project. We got another one with The Warm Up, and another one that I probably heard along the way, but I couldn't remember a lot of these songs. Obviously, I could remember songs like That President's 2, Dollar and a Dream 2, Lights Please, obviously. But I couldn't remember songs like this one, which is my favorite from the listen I've had.
Am I living to get paid? Just slaves for a wage all week. I can't do no 9 to 5, so my mama sorry.
And overall, it's just a great project. I think this is way better than The Come Up, actually. I think the production is better. I think the hooks are a lot better. I even think the lyrics at some point are better. I don't know. Overall, I love this project a lot. I gave The Come Up a 7.5. I'm gonna give this one an 8.5. I really enjoyed it. Gotta say, J. Cole has always been good. So yeah, with that being said, thank you for listening. Suggest some albums in the comments, and have a great one.
Remember back then, all them hoes ain't want me. Now I'm ballin', all them same hoes on me. Mama told me that this came with the money and the motherfucking fame. Even though I feel the same, I'm that nigga now. I'm that nigga now. I'm that nigga now. I'm that nigga now.